Yo, just finished talking to an elder. I swear to God, I don't want to give any flowers so they can smell the fragrance. Old ages, a blessing through the stages. Amazing, I'm giving the grace to pass to the sages. I don't pen my thoughts to perform on stages. I pen my thoughts for future planetary ages. Immortalize these vibrations on intangible pages. The God frequency, a special type of wavelength. But some want you to be intoxicated and stay bent. Now and again, ask your loved ones how their days went. Cause one day you're here, the next you're gone, that's how your days spent. More or less, I'm here to... Yo. What's happening? Greetings, salutations, blessings, no transgressions, minimal obfuscation, and maximum elation. This is what we're doing. We're going to chop it up real quick. I'm not going to take too much of your time, as always. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. I hear it's busy in these DeFi streets. I'm not sure if it even matters. I'm not sure if it even matters. I'm not sure if it even matters at all. The hive mind, tribal mentality, hunter-gatherers, men supposedly, allegedly, are supposed to go hunt and bring back the spoils of their work to the nurturing members of their tribes. It's part of human nature. Not sure what's so hard for people to understand when it comes to certain things, you know? I'm not sure. I am not sure. I was part of I was honored to be a part of a fiery stream, legendary. That's going down in the books. I don't care how anybody feels about it, not because I was there, but because of just the nature of it. Ugly conversations were had, differences of opinion, as well as appreciation for certain things in this crypto space, celebrating pumps, et cetera, et cetera. But there's just a certain attitude and mentality that has always been present. It didn't just come around because a certain group of people start expounding about what you like to talk about. These other sentiments have always been there. In my opinion, they've always been there, you know? I just don't get why. I don't get why. I'm not gonna lie to myself and say I don't get why, but it's the part about this whole thing that's just so bizarre, so strange with people, is when you hold up the mirror to show folks who they are. They don't even want to look at the mirror. They don't even want to look at themselves. Why? Is it too much self-loathing taking place? Right? Is it too much what? What are we doing? What are we talking about? What's going on here? People don't like to be presented with the ugly truth. Feel sorry for you. Feel sorry for you. I actually feel sorry, and I'm actually not really sorry because I'm a man of a certain age. Like, I've been out here for a little bit. The older I'm discovering, the older I become, is the more simpler I'm discovering. My tastes of dealing with things are developing. It's simple, man. Simplicity works so well for me. Like, and part of that deals with hard, irrefutable truths, facts, not feelings, not thoughts as far as emotions, right? Oh, you feel discomfort and blah, blah, blah. We understand pain and pleasure is an aspect of life. You got to deal with the emotions. You got to go with them how they come. But they will show up. They will present themselves. And how you going to deal with it? How you going to deal with it? You know, I got on Pulse Nation last night, man. I was like, yo, this is these guys, man. Like, when I created content before Pulse Nation, and I explained this before in my previous, blogs or whatever, I used to just work alone. I jumped on a few streams in the past from a different community that I was a part of, but it wasn't the same like it is now for me. Like, I enjoy the thoughts, the ideas, the you're right, that we bounce off each other and things of that nature, and things are almost like-minded in a way. So you want to call that hive mentality? It is what it is, man. We were born into hives by default. We were born into it by default. And the crazy part about Pulse Nation is, and I don't even know because I didn't mention this to them, but I could almost guarantee that certain things in the community that existed, we saw the handwriting on the wall without even saying a word. We saw the nastiness in people before we even said a word to each other. These are things that you pick up on just by having a sense of awareness, a heightened sense of awareness and understanding who you are as a person. Okay? These weird seeds of poison that folks have within their own hearts that they want to plant into the minds of people in this crypto fractured community so that they can create consistent dissension, division, fighting, contention, because that's how you're able to conquer everything, by dividing everybody. Not understanding that it's not that easy when you have strong will, when you're fortified, when you respect yourself to the point where you understand that you know nothing, but you're willing to absorb factual information and knowledge to apply it to improve the quality of your life and deal with your shortcomings and deal with your flaws and deal with all the challenges that comes to living your natural, normal, regular life, and dealing with this upside down, wild, wild west circus that we call DeFi cryptocurrency. It's a madhouse. It's a circus. I've said this before. Those of us who partake and interact and participate, we're not regular people. because we're the riskiest of risky risk takers. And even with that, there's levels to that. Because if we were to have one conversation with a normal person, a normie, someone who's not into cryptocurrency, and we just spoke for 10 minutes about what we do in DeFi, they would be absolutely lost. Not only would they be lost, but they would judge you. They would judge us automatically and tell us that we are out of our minds. We are crazy, lunatics. I'll accept it because ever since I got into crypto many years ago, I never looked back. And throughout this whole time and understanding that everybody plays a role, everyone plays a role, but you have narcissistic, egotistical, maniacal people, right? Who are practically wolves cloaking themselves as sheep, pretending like they have your best interests in mind. And whoever feels a way about it, well, there you go. You have your answer. You see where you fit in all of this whole paradigm. You have unsuspecting, you have people who are naive, who are just completely, completely brand new, who know nothing, and those who are have even been in the space because you never stop learning. You have individuals who are simply prey for predators to siphon every single energy, monetary energy, money, attention, whatever you have, and give it off to these people so that they can remain enriched. And it's in multiple levels, man. When you talk about these things, you're drowned out. When you talk about these things, people want to cut your voice. They want you to stop speaking. They want you to buy into their narratives, buy into their strategy, buy into their philosophy because you're going against the grain, looking for something to improve yourself, to better yourself, to not only improve yourself, but God forbid you want to improve your community, your own community, outside of whatever crypto collective you think you're a part of. God forbid. Most people in the world, honestly, including myself, like we need consistent work. We need to work on ourselves consistently. But you have people who are punch drunk, ego driven, and power hungry. They will go to no end at and all levels of status. This is not about socioeconomic anything from the bottom of the bottom to whatever levels up top. You got people out here who will tell you that those who speak facts, those who want to hold on to the truth, are the enemy. Those who want to speak to the truth are unpopular for a reason, right? Don't listen to them. They don't know what they're talking about. They're liars. They're disingenuous. They do things in bad faith. All these things. Meanwhile, I've been around the block and I've met real, wicked, evil, malignant, or malevolent, negative ass people in my life. Seriously. And I consistently deal with them just by the nature of what I do for a living. Forget about where I grew up and where I was reared as a child. This crypto internet thing has nothing compared to what's going on in the real world. But when you lend yourself to algorithms and weak banter, weak energy, where you suck yourself in, you get yourself attached to some type of lie, this structure of people who think that they're popular, who think that they have your best interests in mind, who think that they're always right, they're smarter than you. It's nonsense. None of this shit matters, man. None of this matters. This doesn't represent the macrocosm of the world. You might think it does because, you have people who suffer from serious mental illnesses and mental challenges that are undiagnosed, right? That comb through life, acting as if, oh, all is whatever. Meanwhile, they look for fuel. They look for you to give them undivided attention because that's what they do. Look at the people who scream the most, who talk the most now, who want to yell on the internet, man, where nobody cares. I don't care how many people are listening to you at that time. When they're listening to you, they just want to pass the time because they're simply bored. It's more than just about, oh, you have information to teach and what you're doing is providing value. No, what you're doing is helping people pass time, like what I'm doing right now. I'm helping people just pass the time. I'm not going to pretend like a million people care about what I'm talking about because I'm just a small drop in the expansive ocean called life. Small drop of water. And I understand it and I respect that. Many people don't see themselves as that, even though that's what they are. They don't respect the fact that there's a larger system taking place in life, in the world, that's greater than the sum totals of the thoughts that they have in their brain. No one individual can control an entire market. But you got people over here, when they hear something that they don't like, they want you to be quiet. They want you to not talk. They want you to just want to censor and cut your voice because what you're saying is too real, it's too hurtful, it's too gut-wrenching, and it's too pure. So what they're gonna do? Amass a bunch of people who can't think for themselves, appeal to their sensibilities, grow their popularity, and there you have this fake thing called social capital that they use to their own benefit and try to weaponize that dynamic against those who don't fall in line. This is what you find here. This is what you find in this crypto community. This is what you find in life. But we're going to stick to this thing with this crypto space. People are not, they're like understand, folks, the world, it's not about being negative. It's about being real. It's not no kumbaya out here. There's no kumbaya out here. There's a balance. Everything can't just be kumbaya. I remember when I was indoctrinated in the American school system, religious school system, and kumbaya, my love, kumbaya. Meanwhile, outside across the street, someone burned a building down. A 5-floor walk up. Families had to be carried down. But they got the kids, school children, programming them to believe in some kumbaya. Meanwhile, you open the window and you're breathing in soot from a fire across a burning building. Where is the kumbaya? Like y'all have to understand there's a balance, man. Respect the balance. You want to buy into some narrative, keep everything soft. Don't talk about real shit. Everything is supposed to be potpourri, happy-go-lucky. That's not life. It's not life, especially when you're dealing with money. Most people are going through hardship. That's why I don't subscribe to certain narratives that people in this community talk about, that they are so well off and all this and that. That's good because that's aspiring. People want to become as such. You want to become well off. But for many, that's not the reality. People walk up to me all the time asking me for money. Like, I don't even,
I'm not wearing Prada and Gucci bags. I don't even do that. Just to show you, you look outside and you see how real things are versus your imagination and your fake cage that you call a home, or whatever neighborhood and attitude that you have and aspire to. It's not real. It's not real. Everyone is not living well off. Everyone doesn't have, big bags, et cetera, et cetera. So most people are starting from the bottom. Have to start from the ground, the bottom of the pyramid, the lowest of the low, and then take it from there. Then you got all these other issues. You got, people just don't want to admit stuff, man. You got race issues, you got gender issues, age issues, but it's all no, keep those things quiet because it's about crypto and kumbaya. How? How? With all these variables are always intertwined and working all at the same time. It's amazing to me. It's amazing. You had Post Nation did a stream with the people from Fame and Fiat and all that last summer. I want to say around June, July-ish, early July, before the whole SEC drama took place with Richard Hart. It's interesting. Very entertaining stream, right? During the day, I guess they also streamed with the same people. Had Dylan and Buck on the stream during the day, and at nighttime, the late night, they were there again. And Disciple himself, during the late night stream, decided it's gonna be about barbershop talk. And when you speak like that, that means it's gonna be, listen, man, this is what it is. We're gonna have real conversation here, right? Unfiltered, throw the politically correct mumble. We're adults. And he expressed his opinions about sacrifices. He expressed his opinions about how none of this stuff is new, how we're familiar, because what he's talking about, people can relate to, how we're familiar with folks who've been wheeling and dealing all our lives. We're familiar with hustlers. We're familiar with people who want to scheme, grifters, scammers, thieves. We're familiar with folks who talk that sweet talk to build their confidence, or not even for you to buy into their confidence. Hence con games, con men. We're familiar with these people, man. So you can't just speak about certain things without being discovered, without, folks looking right through you. And then when he's talking about it, he's just saying it. It wasn't really to attack Buck and Dylan. They were just listening because it was still entertaining. Everybody was letting everybody talk. Everybody was letting everybody talk. Jokes were flying around and everything. Everything was cool. Disciple even said to them, because it sounded like he was really like, listen, man, like it's like because they were on the stream, it made it seem like you could interpret and think that he's just directly going at them, but he's going at it's almost like, not to say that they were crooked, that they were absolute crooks, but because they were part of a team of people who also created sacrifices in the community, right? Who may not have great intentions, everyone was basically being told, listen, we're familiar with people who talk all the time, with people who hustle. We're familiar with that. And even told Buck, Fiat and all that Dylan, whatever, that they have a dope project. Their exchange was dope. Okay, gave them props, gave them credit on the stream. to the point where even Buck, I remember hearing him say, yo, disciple for president. And he might have even sent a super chat. You're gonna send somebody a super chat all about disciple for president. In other words, yo, because it was a moment of some type of fellowship, conversation taking place, funny entertainment. B Roots jumped on. Many people were on the stream. But it also, what it did was, because up to that point, no other streamers did that. Things like that didn't happen. What happened was, it was early when Post Nation was developed and formed. It created thought. It moved ideas in somebody's head. Like, oftentimes when you talk about things that people are thinking, right? It allows things to be shifted. It disturbs something, right, in your system. You feel something because it's just too visceral. Like, you could just cut this thing. Like, it's like, wow, I was just thinking that. He just said what I was thinking. Gotta respect it. Soon after that stream, no less than like a week, everything was cool on the stream though. Soon after that stream, you hear some foolishness from them about toxic maxis, yo. There was some discussions throughout the day, in the middle of the day, on the same night of the same day that that Post Nation stream jumped off. During the day, Westcott had a daytime joint. ATX jumped on it too, but they had Dylan and Buck. And there was some differences of opinions and ideas regarding how high of multiples would the chain do. Post chain, post X. That's when we started hearing the 10, the 20X narrative, y'all. Y'all just act like you forget shit. You got to remember where these things began from, man. None of y'all could really, if you weren't around, you don't know. But that's when we started to hear, oh, 10X, 20X. They had their reasons, and we have our reasons why we don't believe in that. So that created like the differences, right? An example, one example. Then the nighttime, it was just, okay, on top of that, with your valuations and all this stuff, you're thinking low multiples, we still want to believe these things are going to be designed to do very well, comparative to Ethereum, comparative to what Hex did, comparative to Bitcoin, because these projects are supposed to be superior than 99% of all these other cryptos, man. On top of that, you talk fast, you're doing all this thing. What you did was you copy pasted another project from Ethereum, did your thing, right? Don't act like you're doing something special when people gave you money. Don't act like you're doing something special when people gave you money, man. That's all. And everyone wants to talk about freedom of speech, or this is why we sacrifice a pulse chain, and freedom of movement is why we sacrifice pulse X, all this stuff. But they're not about freedom of speech. This is why a lot of times when you hear about all this freedom, they don't want to pay for it. They don't want to pay for the freedom because it costs. It costs for you to be real. Everything has a consequence. When you hear something you don't like, what they want to do? Disparage you, humiliate you, ridicule you, dehumanize you, insult you, and say you're toxic. Meanwhile, you sent the super chat. You appreciated the toxicity then. What happened? You had to change your heart. So the same individuals, because this is history, these same individuals that started with the toxic, all this and that, now they're going to campaign now. They're going to go on spaces now and not record their spaces now, right? And talk about toxic RH Mac. This is how the narratives begin, because they already had their own collective of people who bought into their projects, spend millions of dollars in their projects. They got supporters who have millions collected in their projects, who are listening to this jargon, right? Who are listening and buying into it. And here you have now folks who just want to believe in RH as far as his philosophy. There's people that just believe in RH for him, but I believe in the principles that RH has taught relative to crypto. That's me. But those of us who want to just stick to that, when we talk about these things, we're called toxic. And then when you mention and you question people who were in Hex in the beginning for having differences, a philosophy change, like you're just doing everything different. You're doing the opposite of everything now. You're still considered a toxic maxi because it's about how you separate people, to control the story, to control the narrative. This guy had a 7-hour spaces and decided that leaders had to come together because of some fictitious void. This void, just because Richard wasn't streaming anymore, though they took that and ran with it. They ran with it. They said, okay, because he's not streaming anymore, can you see the absence? How does that void feel like? Oh man, there's a vacuum. Now we need leaders to come here and in place of Richard, let's direct everything. Let's guide and lead everybody to where it made no sense. It made no sense. And in that same 7-hour spaces that they erase, why are you going to erase something if you're not hiding something, right? That's another topic for a different discussion. The same 7-hour joint. You're going to say that these people need to get together and go after the toxic maxis by breaking them. Go break them. This is a word that came out of your leader's mouth. Buck's mouth. This is what he said. I don't care if it was out of jest. I don't care if he was just trying to make a point, but that was just emphatically insulting to me. I got to think about 500 years of oppression when I'm thinking about breaking, and your name is Buck. Oh, you're doing something else now. I think about different things. And this type of talk wasn't existent. Forget about, oh, we knew and all this stuff. I wasn't hearing this type of conversation in 21. I wasn't hearing this type of conversation in 22. This started in 23 when a bunch of Black and Hispanic people got together and decided to just stream together and support Richard Heart ecosystem tokens when we stream. That's when I started hearing this toxicity talk. I didn't hear it before, as far as like this, to this level and magnitude, to where you got to break people. I could name you a handful of other people that came in the community and went and got ousted for doing crazy stuff. Sure, they might have been called toxic, etc., but right now you hear toxic so much, it might as well be a brand. You might as well create gold and diamond chains and write a toxic RH Maxi. You might as well. I find it, wholly disingenuous and toxic or false, hypocritical from these individuals who are laughing with you on stream and then a few days later stab you in the back and want to campaign against you because you didn't buy into their story and narrative. You didn't buy into their narcissistic need to be the focus of everyone's attention, and so that you can be controlled by their propaganda. You watch their stream, watch who's paying attention, who's listening. I mean, it's not hard to tell. It ain't hard to tell. Shout out Nas, 1994. Last summer, as the summer unfolded, soon after that stream where he's like, oh, Elephant in a Room, part 1, part 2, 7-hour spaces, you erased them, you scared. because you got to rehash things. This is why I'm talking about this again, because we spoke about this before, but y'all want to resurface with Toxic Maxi because of a controversial, fiery 6-hour stream that happened on Pulse Nation last night. So we're gonna continue. We're gonna chop this. So we're gonna parse through this. Might do this in different parts. It's just gonna be out there because nobody listens to the channel. I don't even care. I don't do this for popularity. Never have been one for that. I'm low, even though I talk. You know, I create content for years, man. I do this because I enjoy it. Summer's unfolding. As soon after that stream, boom, SEC drama. Oh, Richard being sued with SEC. That same week, highest of stakes coming out. So it's bittersweet. You got these people who are afraid of SEC, and then other people gotta be excited because the movie's coming out. Boom, boom, late July, early August, that time period. So everything was kind of weird. Then unfold. Summer's passing through. Another member in the community, right? People don't like B Roots and this and that and this. Shout out. I mean, like, listen, man, people are gonna do what they do. You espouse about freedom and then you want to control folks' actions, right? But this is the thing. He then exposes the same these same individuals for having some type of private Telegram group and how they disparage and talk crap about Richard for filth, right? For filth. And it seemed like that was okay. Why? Because freedom of speech. But when you try to defend that, you toxic. When you try to defend and go against it, you toxic. Like, make it make sense. We can't be selective here in understanding how this all works. You're gonna pick and choose when it fits your narrative or not, when it fits your needs or not. How? You had a secret group. This guy, from the beginning of when I heard about him, it was just weird to me. Like his whole marketing, everything, blackface, funny name, all this stuff, whatever you got going on. But once I started hearing him talk, I'm like, this guy is what type of Richard Hart supporter is this guy? And you'll say, oh yeah, he's a supporter, but then talk shit about him in the same breath. And y'all good with that. This is when we started to see, okay, well, for me, I could say for me, I started to see, this community isn't about anything, really. They're just about themselves. Because the hate and vitriol that was built up from the end of 2021 into the spring of this year and into now for Richard has been nothing less than obvious, than clear, than transparent. You see how Richard gets down, right? I've been very fucking critical about Richard. 100%. I didn't like Hex in the beginning. I was one of the people who trolled the entire community. I didn't give a fuck. That was me. Until I realized I made one of the costliest mistakes I ever made in crypto, letting Hex go. November 2019, token airdrop. I was bombing on Trey and Craig. Been bombing on these cats for years, man. Scammers left and right. Blah, blah, blah. That was me since 2017. Who cares? The whole point about the whole thing is people been around. But y'all say this guy been around since the early days, had all this vitriol and animosity and hate for Richard, but then found a narrative to attach himself to about being a builder, right? Being a builder. And run with that narrative. Because so many other people wanted to build too. But they were afraid when Richard said what he said about how if it was up to him, he almost don't want any builders to build on Pulse Chain. But it's not really up to him. That's why he said if it was up to him. But y'all took shit to heart. Y'all literally took things to heart. You got pissed off. You felt upset. You took it personal and want to rally a campaign. Because while he was away, you figured you would play. Oh, there's a void. Rich is not around. What is he doing? He's on the run. He's not talking. Pulse Chain he left Pulse Chain. He left the community. All that talk was happening 2-3 months into the Pulse Chain mainnet. And first thing y'all will say, look, we gave back millions to the community. Our sacrifice fire, we gave back this and that. You got to break these toxic maxis. For what? Because I don't really see toxicity taking place outside of holding on to being a hodler, holding on to being an owner of an exchange, holding on to being a founder. These and then what you even said, you yourself, sir, again, you even told the people in your secret group, because that circulated throughout the internet. One of the best things a person could do to be successful is be extremely close to the founder in crypto, and is so interesting, so ironic that you have a private group, and in that private group it was exposed that your minions that or people in there talking crap again, you know, hurling the N-word and all, saying nigga freely, albeit the one that they showed was A, not ER, but it is what it is. It was said by somebody who wasn't black, who wasn't of color, none of that. And you know, people run with that. I'm from where I'm from, so it's whatever. I'm used to many people saying it, man. It is what it is. Who cares? But it showed the chinks that you have in your armor. And then you go running, talking about, oh no, you need to apologize. Oh no, take this down. Oh, you know, you disparaging my character and all this and that. How you think people feel? Because I guess you don't care when you call down on the shit that you do as well. This is the hypocrisy, the contradictions that are ever present in this whack ass space. That's why it's never about being led. It's never been about being led, yo. It's about conceding to their story, to their narrative, to their whatever whimsical fantasies that they have for themselves. They want you to buy into it because they don't care about you, or else they wouldn't want to lead you. Why would you want to be led if you got the tools, if you were given what you need to operate as an individual who controls, who has some kind of control of their life? Why would you want to be led? Financial destiny, control, sovereignty, independence, power, all these things, but you need somebody to lead you. It makes no sense. Makes no sense. That was July. So what? 6 months later or so, look at what's happening. That's why it's like, yo, forget it, man. Like, you know, it's like, you know, these people gonna be who they are. You know, you can't, a leopard can't change its spots. A tiger can't change its stripes. You identify folks for what it is, and it is gonna be what it's gonna be. And this is not the sum total of everything, right? No damn 6-hour stream from Pulse Nation is gonna allow the whole entire market to not pump, right? Please, like, really, let's be for real here. Let's be for real. No one has that much power, as much as you would like. Folks are just so punch drunk. They just so in such a level. This disillusionment is the delusional. How delusional these people are. It's unfucking real. No founder outside of Richard in the Pulse Chain system was able to issue a fucking tweet or any announcement that had the change that pumped the entire chain and the coins on the chain like Richard did. And you can't even give him credit for that. It's, oh, look at the lawyers he got. That's kind of expensive. That's just too expensive. This is how, you know, this is the pessimistic mind mindset of some of these individuals, but then they'll tell you that I'm toxic, Post Nation is toxic, the people in Post Nation are that. Why? Right? And then a week, because this whole thing about having other coins, that's just so blasé. It's just people have nothing better to do on the internet. They have nothing better to do with their lives. So they nitpick. They comb through fine detail and then just blow those things up because they have nothing else of quality going on, or else they wouldn't waste their time talking about things like this. You have nothing of quality. You got nothing taking up your time. No productivity, nothing worth even paying attention to. Before you get into curtain is rich. I mean, think about it, man. Like, because it's not about you getting into other projects and this and that and not supporting builders and all this and that. It ain't about that. It ain't. It never was. But because they don't have much, when you're speaking the truth, people want to just extract, deflect, and hold on to certain pieces of some information and run with it. This is what they've been doing the whole time. They want to run with the fact, oh, you saying I can't spend on the crypto. Oh, what are you? What type of tyrannical dictator are you trying to be? No, that's not the point. That's not the point. First of all, you pretending like you were something that you're not. Right? You pretending that you're something that you're not. So you two-faced, you're a liar, you're a living contradiction. Being some type of fake OG or whatever in the beginning, you inherit this and that and this. You pretend like you supported Richard, and you did not, because you ended up doing other things. You ended up, which is your right to do whatever other things, but you got people listening to you. This is the shit that folks don't understand, and I've been saying this for years, man. Been saying it for years. You got a following. You got you talk on the internet. If 1 person out of 8 billion is going to listen to you, someone followed what you had to say, and not necessarily did it to the T, but someone is listening. Someone's paying attention. You don't know how your words can affect someone else's mind, someone else's decision making. You can't take that for granted. But people don't care. It's about they're seeking attention right then and there. Like I'm talking right now. I don't know how many people are listening to me. Shout out to the chat. And if you're not, shout out to you, replay gang, whatever. But I'm just talking, sharing this information, thinking consciously, trying to be responsible with what I'm saying, because you don't know how it could affect people in their decision making, because people don't do their research like you would want them to believe. Most of the time, the research just goes as far as something they see on the internet, a YouTube video, a TikTok video, something on Twitter, and that's it. They don't go any further than that. And so you out here parading, oh yeah, you the man, you the crypto person, you doing this, you doing that with this coin, that coin, this coin, that coin. Meanwhile, you came from a certain position, a certain a foundation that helped you win, and then you're doing other things outside of that, and people follow you, and then they don't experience the same thing. What does that leave you? What does that leave everybody? People are supposed to emulate your level of success the same, almost the same, or exceed your level of success. If you're supposed to really be about it, exemplifying greatness and representing something that makes sense, that works. That was my criticism with Trevon and Craig back in the days, man. You shilling all these different things. So if people are watching you win, and they do the same thing you're doing, buying this coin, dumping that coin, transferring this coin and this contract, this and this blockchain, they should essentially receive the same rewards. And that's not what was happening. Said this 5 years ago. And it's the same. People don't learn anything, man. They just don't. They just don't. Folks learn nothing. They just stand in their own way, trip over their own feet, let their feelings dictate their decisions. It's sad. It's sad. And it gets raw. It gets raw. It gets disrespectful, right? It gets ugly. Reprehensible, all that stuff. It creates problems. But at some point, you got to come down to a solution. Everything has to come to a point where it's like, everything can't be chaotic and disorderly. But that stems from something. This is what I'm saying about the seeds of poison that have been sown, right? The chickens are coming home to roost right now. This is not something that happened overnight. It's been this way for a very long time. And when you the cause to open up, or the catalyst to open up Pandora's box, everybody want to blame you. And folks lack emotional intelligence, right? They lack just understanding. There's zero empathy, and it's just all about me, what I've done. There's so many me's in this so-called community. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. DJ Bomber, what's up? What's up? What's up? Alan Fizame, what's happening? He said, I know I didn't expect. Hey, you know what? I can't say I'm surprised in a way, because that's the nature of how things can get, It's crazy, but so you can't undo what was done, right? It was a fiery stream, a very fiery stream, very controversial, but it was necessary in a sense. Prospector, salute. DJ Bomber, that stream was wild. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. Thank you, Alan. More Hex, what's the deal? What's going on? Dennis Anderson says, tell him wonder. Yeah, Prospector said, yeah, I remember that. ATX noted that, right? Yo, 100, remember? ATX called it out early during the day of that same post stream, the same day Post Station had the stream with them at nighttime. During the day, ATX was on his helmet. You see? When they talked about the difference, it's only going to do a 10x, 20x, ATX pulled out information to refute Buck's stance. Period. But this guy just wants folks, not ATX, but that guy just wants people to just kowtow and bow down to everything he says. And that's not toxic? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on, man. Oh, that was the last stream, Post Nation. I think it's called We're Celebrating. More Hex. Salute to you, man. We're celebrating. It was 6 hours of 6 hours. It broke the internet. They're not gonna give credit to that, but the thing just, if the internet had a roof, the roof got blown off. If the internet, any doors got blown off the hinges with that stream. It was just chaos and pandemonium.